from the Top of Town Studios in Conley Street, Cavan. I'm Louise O'Reilly. Tonight, joining on the show is Thomas McKiernan, who is going to talk to us about the Cheltenham, which is taking place this week. So, Thomas, thank you very much for joining us on the show. You're very good for coming in. First time on Cavan TV.
It is.
And first time on All About Sport.
Yes, exactly.
We've actually hit 1 million viewers this week, so you're really...
So there's no pressure.
No pressure at all. So there'll be lots of people watching this back, and we'll be able to listen to all your tips. It'll just be too late if they don't watch it now tonight.
Exactly, yes.
But, you know, obviously Cheltenham is something you're very, you're passionate about racing, and, you have great interest in it. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Thomas. You're from Cavan Town.
From Cavan Town. I work in the post office, and postman in the post office, and I've been interested in racing for a long time now, I have to say. From when I was very young, my own dad, Lord rest him, he loved the horse racing, and every Saturday afternoon he'd have the horse racing on, watching the racing, and I'd have no choice but to sit with him and watch it, so that's really how I got into it,
So Paul Cox was able to rope you into...
Paul Cox roped me in tonight, yes. So
have you given Paul all your tips all week?
I have, but he wouldn't back a horse.
He wouldn't back a horse?
No, he wouldn't spend the money, no.
After this show tonight, I think I'm going to be taking the day off. I'll be at the bookies tomorrow.
Oh, right. I hope you can give you plenty of
winners. I have all
the
tips, so I'm getting first-hand information. But, why is Cheltenham such a big deal? This comes around every year. Why is it such a big deal?
Well, it's for any racing fan, it's probably the biggest week of the year, It's all the top Irish horses and trainers head over to Cheltenham to take on the English good horses. So that's really what it is, yeah. And it's like the Olympics of horse racing. It's the very best of horses over here taking on the English horses, and it's just a fabulous week and always a great atmosphere. And then when you add in the thousands of Irish horse racing fans that go over, it just makes it an amazing occasion,
And I suppose it sometimes falls on, St. Patrick's Week.
Actually, usually one of the days is on St. Patrick's Day.
So it finishes, it started on Tuesday.
That's right, yeah.
So it only started yesterday, and it finishes up on Friday.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, the Irish, they always do really well. How are they doing so far?
Doing very well this week.
Yeah.
I think after 2 days, they have 7 winners.
Oh, wow.
And the English have 6, which is unbelievable, because
So
the English would have a lot more horses in all the races. But up until we're one ahead after 2 days, so there's still 2 days to go. So we're doing very well, very well. So
Ruby Walsh, he won his big race yesterday.
That's right. Yeah, the big race yesterday was the Champion Hurdle, and he was riding Hurricane Fly, which is the favourite.
Oh, I heard. This one name that stuck in my head was this Hurricane Fly. I heard this horse.
Right. Well, I hope you backed it.
Yeah. No, I missed out. I know. I was raging. I know, but I know a lot of people did back it, and were very happy collecting their winnings.
Yes, he's a big Irish hope before the whole lot started, and a lot of the Irish punters would have been hoping he'd win, So he obliged anyway and won easy enough. So everybody.
He's always a popular. I mean, obviously he's a
Ruby's very popular. Very
jockey,
popular.
So a lot of people. Once he's riding a horse,
that's right.
They always kind of go for him.
A lot of people mightn't even look at the horse; they might just look at the jockeys and they say, "I like backing Ruby Walsh, so I'll stick with him." So, and if they had backed Ruby yesterday, he had 3 winners. So it would have been a nice day for anybody following Ruby.
Anyone who backed him.
Yeah.
So how did he get on today? He had a race, the last race.
He won the last race, at a big price, 25 to 1. So anybody who got a few pound on him now would be laughing, So he's 4 winners so far. So he's by far the leading jockey, I think,
Okay.
So,
he's been doing really well.
Yeah.
Obviously tomorrow, there's the big races are the Ryanair Chase and the World Hurdle. We'll talk about the Ryanair Chase.
You've really done your research, Louise. Very good, very good.
See, I know a lot more than I've been letting on. Actually, I was just saying to you, I don't know that much about racing at all, but it's great to have someone you can give me lots more information.
Well, I wouldn't, I'd just be interested now, more than 1 minute, the 2 big races tomorrow, the RSA Chase and the Ryanair Chase and the World Hurdle, and I have a feeling the Irish could maybe take those 2 races as well.
So the Ryanair Chase, obviously, everyone's familiar with Ryanair. Is that's Michael O'Leary?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's obviously his Ryanair, the fleet of planes.
He sponsors that race,
He sponsors it, but he also has 2 horses in that race.
Yeah, well, I think he's won in that race. First Lieutenant,
First Lieutenant,
which has a great chance. and then he's won then the following race in the World Hurdle Bog Warrior, which also has a good chance. So, but he has a lot of good horses, you know. So
yeah, so I didn't realise he had this.
Oh, he's very keen. He's very keen.
It's been a long time for him.
He's a very keen horsey man. Yeah,
he's got the money, so
he's got the money. So money's no object.
Yeah,
there, you know.
Sure, when you're paying for them extra bags, you know, it helps towards another horse.
That's it. That's it.
So you're saying out of them two tomorrow, I mean, would there be any preference for you? Do you think you'd bet on one of the First Lieutenant or Bog Warrior?
Well, as I say, I'd be betting on the two of them because they're in two different races.
Sorry.
Yeah, First Lieutenant is in the first race you mentioned, Ryanair.
And then
the race after that is Bog Warrior, and I think the two of them could have a good chance, you know.
Yeah.
But I say it's very hard because there's every horse over there is a good horse.
Right. Yeah.
And the English will be really out now tomorrow to try and get back a few winners, you know, because they're not like it.
Not at all. The World Hurdle is like how long is the course? Have you any ideas? About 2-3 miles long.
The World Hurdle, the course.
Is it a long race?
It's 3 miles.
Okay.
So, but then there was a race today that was 4 miles. So that 4 miles would be probably the limit of the races, you know. And then the shortest race would be 2 miles.
Okay.
So
so different horses would do kind of fare out better in different races.
That's right.
And then Oscar Whiskey, have you much interest in that horse at all?
He's running in, I think, in the World Hurdle tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Barry Garrett, he's riding him. Very good Irish jockey.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Very good, yeah.
Do you think he'll stay 3 miles up to Cheltenham Hill?
This is very good. I'm very impressed, I have to say. I wouldn't even thought that myself. No.
I think it's the degree it helps.
Oh, right.
That one lecture in horse racing.
I know Barry Garrett, he was at one of these pre-Cheltenham conferences last week, and he was very keen on this Oscar Whiskey tomorrow, you know, in the race tomorrow. So I wouldn't put anybody off backing it now, you know.
Yeah. So people won't kind of be afraid thinking he won't finish the race.
Oh no, I think he'll definitely finish the race.
You think he would?
I think he'd be thereabouts now coming to the end, you know.
I watched that documentary on RTE and Barry Garrity. I think he was he not having much luck with his horse choices. It was interesting, that documentary, actually, how the hot jockeys
and it just showed how brave and maybe how stupid they are, like, because it's a seriously dangerous game.
It
like,
really
you know,
is.
And there's some falls that, you know, they were breaking arms and legs, and it's just a very tough game, you know.
They're very hardy, I suppose.
Yeah, and when they do fall and hurt themselves, all they're worried about is what horses they're going to miss riding. Like, they're not feeling the pain. They're on their way to hospital, but they're just worried about the next race. And I'm going to miss this horse. I'm going to miss that. That's just the way they think, you know.
Yeah.
They're just unbelievably tough
It's
characters,
like their
you know.
life, isn't it? Really,
But
it's
their job. It's their job. Yeah, it is their job.
And I suppose a lot of them have grown up, I suppose, with
well, that's it.
families,
Yes,
and
and that's right. They're surrounded. Yeah, they're just surrounded by horses all their lives, you know.
Yeah.
And you just have to. There's a lot of families in the racing game. You know, you have Ted Walsh's family, and you've who else, Carberry's, and you know, so they just grow up with racing, and they know nothing else really,
exactly,
you know.
Yeah. So Oscar Whiskey, is he like one of the favourites for tomorrow?
I think he's around 4 or 5 to 1. Yeah.
Oh, right.
So
okay. So 4 or 5 to 1 is, that's, you know, we put money on it.
Yes, if you put a £5 win at 5 to 1, you get €25.
There you go.
And you're €5 back.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all.
Oh.
So then, obviously, the biggest race of all is on Friday. That's the last race of the week. Is the Gold Cup is on Friday. Why is that? You know, the biggest race. Why is it such a big deal? That race?
They call it the blue ribbon of the meeting. It's a race that all the big trainers and all the jockeys want to win. You know, and it's money wise, it'd be a big pot for anybody who does win it. You know, money wise, it'd be one of the big races.
Yeah.
And it's just a race that they all want to win. You know.
Yeah.
And as I say, it nearly finishes off the meeting, so. You know, it's a nice way for the whole lot to finish off. Yeah.
I suppose if anyone's any money left in the pot,
well, that's it.
Throw it all on the last
that's
race.
The danger, yeah.
You know,
that is the danger. You could have no money coming to the Gold Cup, you know.
So, I mean, it's always hard to cut your loss there, right? I'll be happy with my lot.
There could be a lot of the Irish gone home by Friday if there's no money, you
really?
know.
Oh,
but if they've been backing Irish horses so far this week, they'll be doing okay.
They'll be doing good,
yeah. They'll be doing okay.
Please God. So, you know, Willie Mullins, he has a horse called, now I'll try and pronounce this, Surgery Champ.
Sort of Champ, yes, very good. Yes, Sort of Champ.
Yeah, and he's obviously a very well-known trainer.
Yes, he's having an amazing week. I think he's had 5 winners so far this week, Willie Mullins. So He really is having a great week, and that's sort of Champ, I think, is second favourite for the Gold Cup. So around 4-3 or 7-2, 4-1, you know. So he has a big chance. And once again, I think it's Michael O'Leary owns that horse.
Oh, right.
Going back to Ryanair again, so he has a great chance of winning the Gold Cup, like Michael O'Leary, you know.
Do we have any local jockeys that you're aware of, or any kind of from Cavan or that rides at Cheltenham?
No, Monaghan, Oliver Brady from Monaghan is a trainer. Monaghan, he usually has maybe one or two over at Cheltenham, you know. But I haven't seen any now this week. Shani Donoghue would be the local trainer in Cavan.
Yes, that's right.
Shani, but Shani, no, I don't think Shani's any this week now.
Not this week.
No. He's had in the past. He's had not winners, but he's had runners at Cheltenham. No, but no, I haven't seen any. I don't think Shani's any out this week now.
So I said there's a lot of Cavan people over there this week.
Is, yeah. That's a fabulous occasion. Now, I was lucky enough 3 years ago to go.
Yeah.
And
what was that like? That must have been
it was just amazing. For anybody who loves racing, it was just the whole lot was just absolutely.
So you were
amazing.
there in the stadium watching the games.
Yeah.
What's the difference being there and watching it with your?
It's just the atmosphere. I remember distinctly the first race, and we're standing down in front of the big stands, and the tapes went up for the first race. The first race started, and just the roar went up from behind the stands, like, you know, from the stands and just behind us, and it just made the hair stand in the back of your neck. It was just unbelievable, the roar, you know. Yeah. And it's just the atmosphere. And then in the night time, then the pubs would be full of the Irish, like, you know, and singing and dancing and that. It was just a great experience.
I know. Quiet as always.
Oh yeah.
The boring Irish.
Yeah, that's right.
What we're called.
I was quiet. I just stand in the corner. Like,
having no crack at all.
No, it was very.
And it doesn't really matter. I suppose the Irish don't care if they don't win. I mean, if they win, they'll have a drink, and if they don't win, they'll have a drink.
Like a lot of them make this their holidays for the year, you know, and they go over and you know, they'll have their money, and if they lose their money, they'll not mind either. Like, you know, they just put money by for that week.
Yeah, what type of bets, like, you know, when you went over here, what type of bets is people putting on? Like, I mean, what's the silliest bet, I mean, in your eyes, have you ever seen someone put on?
You don't really know. You'd be there with maybe your 10 or 20 euro putting on a horse, and the next thing you see this fella coming up with just a ball of money.
Really?
Like, you know,
so you just feel like
you know, just
tenner.
cover your tenner up, like, you know. But you'd be talking about 500 sterling or 1,000 sterling.
And it would just go up in a puff of smoke, like they'll just be gone before their eyes. They may not win.
That's it. Most of them probably don't win, you know, but they have their money for the year, and you know, their 1,000 sterling is probably like my £10 sterling.
Yeah,
you know,
that's it. It's
you know,
so that's it. Everything, I suppose, is each person is
once
you
know your limits,
what their limits, what
exactly.
their limits are.
Yeah.
Any tips for tomorrow and for Friday? So, you know, who would you kind of thinking about for tomorrow again?
Well, as I said, those two horses, I fancy those two horses. The two of them, as
Oscar
I say,
Whiskey and First Lieutenant.
First Lieutenant, maybe that's 3, maybe that's all. You could. I don't think you go too wrong now if you.
So you're saying, like, you know, like, kind of, if they were winning, like, or if you're thinking you want them to put like a bet on to win.
Yeah, well, I think when they're around, say 4 or 5 to 1, you're better off just putting on to win. You know, the bigger, if the odds are bigger, the way I often work it is if it's maybe 8, 9, 10 to 1 or more. I might think of going each way.
See, I find odds very, and I know I'm not probably the only person, but I'm going to be honest. It is something. Unless I'm at it the whole time, I don't really understand it sometimes. It's like, you know, and I know a lot of people pick by the colour, the name of the horse, or, you know, who the jockey is.
Yeah, and it's strange because even if you be in the bookies this week and you have a lot of, say, maybe older women or young girls, and they're coming in, and they're just coming in because it's Cheltenham, and they don't even know how to write out a bet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They might
Never
say they write down the horse, and that's all they write down. They won't write down the time, or they won't write down the meeting. Or, you know, when it's funny, like, you know, they often come over and they say, could you tell me what to write down? You know, but so that's what happens this week because it's Cheltenham. That's the kind of goes on.
You find maybe not the regulars.
No. It's the same. Cheltenham or the Grand National meeting is the same. You know, you get the different punters, we say, coming in, you know.
But it's great probably for yourself and different people who are great interest in racing, who follow it and really are very used to following these names are cropping up over and over again.
That's
it. You have a better insight to.
Yeah, but it doesn't often work that way. You get people that go by colours maybe, or that see a name.
That worked for me before. When I was at the Melbourne, I was in Melbourne or somewhere, I put a bet on a horse and just like the name of it, really, and I won.
Is that the Melbourne Cafe, no?
Melbourne Cup, maybe?
Oh.
Or, the Melbourne Cafe.
Joke,
well, I was in many cafes too, but the Melbourne Cup, and I remember we went to races in Navan as well. I mean, like that. We were, but as I got into it, and I suppose anyone who knew was kind of educating us as we went along.
Yeah, a lot of people do go by the names and to see a name that they like, you know, and
so funny. Do you ever do online betting yourself?
No.
Would you always go in? Like, I mean, obviously the younger generation, and I had friends today that were online betting with Boyle Sports, you know.
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't probably have a clue, to be honest with you. I've always been used to just going into the bookies or maybe going, as you say, going to Nav in the odd time or going to a meeting, you know, but no, when it comes to online now, I wouldn't know. But just getting back to the thing, but just getting back to the names.
Yes.
There was a horse. There's a horse won on Saturday, and I have a baby daughter called Molly, and the horse was called Molly's a diva.
Molly's a diva.
And I backed the horse because of the name.
Yeah.
And the horse won.
No
so
way.
It just shows.
Luck as well.
That's it. It just shows a lot goes by names. But
do you know anything, like, any ideas why they picked these certain names for horses?
I think it's a lot to do with family names.
Really?
Do you know, they might have a child or a relation by that name, and they'll go by the name. You know. I know. If I had a horse, I probably might think that way. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know?
But, and a lot of them as well, if you know, the Irish horses always have something like bog or like
that's
whiskey.
Right.
You nearly
or
know.
even Irish names, like, you know,
Irish names. So when you're away, you do know that's an Irish horse, or it's a kind of.
That's right, and then Irish. It's funny then to hear the English commentators trying to pronounce them. Then, you know,
that's probably the other reason. Might be part of it. Is it?
They struggle then with the
struggle
name.
with it. So I suppose what jockeys do you think will kind of come out? Well, I suppose we've talked about Ruby Walsh. You know, he's come out with the most wins.
I think he's 4 winners so far.
So it'll be
it's going to be very hard now for anybody to overtake him. You know.
How's Barry Garrity and Tony McCoy?
Barry Garrity had won yesterday. I think it was one yesterday, and he definitely had one today. So he could be the closest now to Ruby. You know, but and actually most of the top jockeys are the Irish jockeys. You know, you have Ruby Walsh, Barry Garrity, Tony McCoy. Davy Russell, they're all Irish.
Would they always just only just ride Irish horses, or
no.
You know, they ride. It doesn't matter.
No, Barry Garrity.
How does it work? Like, I mean, for them, do you?
The trainers and the owner, like Davy Russell, is retained by O'Leary, this Ryanair guy, Michael O'Leary. So any time Michael O'Leary has a horse running, Davy Russell always has to ride it.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's the way that works.
Okay,
yeah.
I see.
And then Ruby Walsh always rides for Willie Mullins in Ireland, and he always rides for Paul Nicholls over in England.
Paul Nicholls?
That's another top trainer in England.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter, like, you mean...
No, a lot of them are associated with the trainers, you know, but and then there's some of them just when they get a decent horse.
Who benefits, like, out of the win? Obviously the trainer, but does the jockey
the owner will get the big cut out of it, and then I don't know now percentage wise, but the jockeys and the trainers get a fair share as well, you know.
Yeah. The jockeys really put themselves through an awful lot to...
Oh, shit, their head kisses.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, even just their dieting and the weight thing is a massive thing.
The weight thing is
a
very big thing, yeah. And I think in the mornings of these big meetings, they're stuck in saunas and they might allow themselves maybe a cup of tea in the morning, and they just sacrifice so much, you know.
Yeah.
But no, the weight thing is a big issue now, you know. Yeah. I wouldn't fancy training.
I've tried the sauna thing, you know. I was thinking I watched that, I thought if I can sit in the sauna, you know, 5 minutes is about it.
Yeah, but these
they're
guys
sitting in hot baths and
yes, yeah.
So the weight, if their weight's over it all, they have to be a certain weight. Then there's
right.
No, they can't ride. That's it, is it?
I think that's the way it works. Yeah,
they have
to meet if a horse is supposed to carry 10 stone 8, they have to get down to, you know, the weight. You know, that's the way it is. Like, you know. But it's a tough game, very tough game.
It's a tough one, but you know, they obviously have to love it enough to.
Well, that's it.
We were saying you know, models wouldn't have a look in.
Well,
talking about the models on the runway, but we were laughing at that earlier here with Marion and myself. We were saying that, but you know, they it's nearly the same. Like,
well,
I mean,
that's it.
Weight and
yeah, it's a big issue now.
Yeah. So again, I suppose we were saying. you know, you were saying your interest in horses came, you know, from your dad, and and you said you've been to Cheltenham. You know, the next one I suppose is coming up is the Grand National.
That's
Have
right.
you ever been over the Grand National?
No, and I would like to go.
Yeah,
I would like to go, but it's the next. I think that's early. Could be first around Easter time actually. I think or first weekend in April. And that's the next. That is a big occasion, you know, because the Grand National is probably the biggest race in the world. You know,
okay, right. So
there's just that race.
Yes.
The meeting itself is I think a 3-day meeting at Aintree, but everything just surrounds. It's just it gears up to the Grand National itself on the Saturday. You know, whereas Cheltenham, you have big races every day. You know, that's the difference, you know.
Is there like Ladies' Day at these different...
Oh, yes.
Cheltenham, one day is Ladies' Day, as in everyone's in their finery.
Yeah, I think it's tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Is it?
Yeah, I think tomorrow is Ladies' Day, and I think on the Friday at Aintree, the Grand National meeting is Ladies' Day, you know. So
it's not just... Yeah, so lots of people will tune in regardless if they're interested in racing, just to check out...
Well, maybe so,
what everyone's wearing.
And the ladies, they really... gear himself up for Ladies' Day. I've been to Galway now, Galway Festival a few times, and on the Thursday of Galway they really come out in their their best gear, you know, and expensive stuff. And there's prizes
every year.
Most year, I'd say the last 6 or 7 years I've been at Galway, and it's fabulous, but it's very crowded, you know, very, very crowded.
In comparison to Cheltenham,
but Cheltenham would be a bigger crowd, but Cheltenham is so big it can hold a crowd, you know, better than Galway. Yeah. Galway would be a bit tighter and smaller. Yeah, but Cheltenham is just a massive.
So it's a huge crowd at Cheltenham.
Huge crowd, but it's a huge place. So there's always plenty of space and plenty of room at Cheltenham, you know. But Galway is a bit different now. You know?
I'm getting it here from the guys who are wondering, is it true Paul Cox gave you a day off to go to Galway races this year? This is word coming in.
Yeah, probably from Paul Cox himself. Probably from Paul Cox himself, I'd say.
Paul Cox,
no, he was very good, I have to say. As Friday now, Gold Cup day, I could have been working, but Paul said, no, I'm going to give you the day off.
Well, Paul, you owe him another day now after coming in tonight, so
good idea.
There you go.
Good
you
one,
were
Louise.
thinking, I know that'll be worth your while. They were talking as well about different rituals and stuff that the jockeys go through, like kissing the horse's hoof, and I don't know.
I think that's a bit risky
I
now.
know.
I don't think they'll be doing that now, you know.
Yeah.
Because one little kick from those animals now, and you definitely wouldn't be riding a horse, you know.
Yeah.
No, I don't really know. I'd say maybe some of them carry maybe little bits and pieces in the pockets and that, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know really of any. I don't think that's true.
And you're saying the jerseys and what they wear, like the colours. It's you were saying it's the trainers, is it?
No, the owners.
The owners.
Yeah, the owners they decide on the colours.
So
you
it
know,
might be county colours mixed with something
different.
Like, why
different.
those stripes or spots? I mean, I'm wearing. Said I'd wear stripes, and said we'd wear something like this. Just
right. It's just there's so many different colours you could have, so you have to change it around, and some of them have spots, some of them have stripes. You know, and but it's the owners who decide like what colours you wear. You know
well,
your man O'Leary Ryanair is purple colour. So
okay, so you're kind of sticking with his purple,
that's
yellow,
right.
Or what's his kind of colours of the plane?
I think is it yellow and blue? Or
yeah, I think
but
so.
I think it's purple with kind of a white star is his colours. You know. So.
And they were saying statistically, did they say that a jockey wearing red has more success?
Who said that?
Marion Shanley, one of our fantastic presenters on Cavan TV.
She's right.
She's right.
Yeah,
I thought that was an interesting one.
It is an interesting one.
So
I haven't heard that before.
For anyone who's putting bets on this week, just
we'll watch out for the red colours tomorrow.
In the paper, it actually gives the colours.
Yeah, they give the colours, and I think red is that popular. There is a lot of the owners have red in their colours.
So it just might be just because
it's
majority
popular.
are picking red, so then obviously it's going to be.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's
majority are going with red. Then I don't know.
Yeah, it's
red
for
danger.
I haven't heard that before. Now it's a good one.
Yeah, well there you go. So
That's
you might
way.
pick.
It's another way of looking at it, you know.
I've Marion Shanley West, one of our presenters. She said she's going to put a bet on a horse who's wearing red tomorrow.
Okay, well she'll have plenty to choose from.
She'll have. Well, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So tomorrow then you're going to put on some bets, and Friday.
I put on bets on Tuesday, and I was lucky enough in the last race to pick a winner now. So, which is a bit unusual because I hadn't been picking winners now up until then. But I was very lucky now. The very last race on Tuesday I picked a horse that won actually at 22 to 1. So
Okay, all right.
so it was okay. It was nice way to finish.
Do you always
the day.
do you always go for the who Ruby Walsh is riding, or do you always necessarily go for the form of the horses? Or?
I probably look at form a lot. You know?
Really? Yeah.
And that horse that I won on Tuesday, I've followed him for the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And he's won a couple of races, and then he's been down the field in a few races. So I just decided, might as well stick with him this time as well. And he happened to win, so I was lucky,
Is there any of your friends, like, and people you know that would regularly put bets on horses? I mean, are they always generally losing or winning, or is it just? I mean, it's one win, one lose, or do you only ever hear about the wins? Or?
Well, yeah, some guys never lose, but it's hard. I don't know about that, but no, there's a lot of lads in the post office now would be interested in the horses, and we'd always have a good chat now every morning about them and how things are going and that, but trying to give each other tips and things like that. But no, there's a good few guys. Paul Cox now, he wouldn't be a bit interested.
No, not at all.
No, he just slags us off all the time. But,
oh, well, that's Paul.
Yeah.
He's everywhere here. You have to be careful. I suppose this is a week you look forward to every year.
I do, yeah. I do try and get me maybe a winter's week's holidays around this time, and it usually works out okay. So managed to get it again this week. So
that's
I'm off this week, so it's great.
That's nice, yeah.
It's good to get
a
lie in.
A lot of people are saying take their holidays or take a week's holidays
this
week. They make it a week off it.
That's it. Like they maybe save for the year, and this is the week that they go away or they put their money by for a few bets and that,
Yeah. Have you got particular bookies? Is there like?
But I always go to Tully's here in Bridge Street, So so I always go in there, and I've been going there since I started doing a few bets,
Yeah.
But, so
I suppose if you want to put a bet on, head down to Tully's on Bridge Street if anyone's looking for
a
bookies to have. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Might give me a free bet now tomorrow.
There you go. Right, if you're watching this. Well, Thomas, thank you so much for coming in. Flies by, doesn't it, when you're having fun? We could talk for another half an hour about the horses. I find that was very informative, and I'm really looking forward to putting a bet on tomorrow.
I did. I enjoyed it.
I know. I'll back some of them. Thomas, thanks very much for coming in, and good luck. I hope you have some more wins towards the end of the week. You're very good.
Okay, thank you, Louise.
So that's it from All About Sport for this week. I hope you enjoyed our chat about Cheltenham, and I hope that you put some good bets on and win something over the next couple of days. But thank you again to Thomas McKiernan for joining me on the show, and I'll be back again at the same time next week. Goodbye.